the restaurant business is great if you take out all the people and
Yeah.
and all the customers.
Yeah, our customers, we've had a couple of customers who are paying, but, here, I'm 6-year-old, can be that grumpy old man. I just tell him to get out of there, and just hit it. I had told one guy, he was complaining about, hey, I've been waiting 30 minutes for my steak. Well, you ordered it well done. It's a 2-inch steak. I go, it's pan-seared. And he goes, well, if you don't have it out there, I go, tell you what, sir, down the street they have this little place called McDonald's, has a drive-up window. You can tear your ass down there and go get something to eat.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I'm Derrick Fox, and you're watching A Bunch of Losers. Shayne the Train and Cowboy Newton are my guests today, 2 MasterChef legends and Texas Cowboys. We talk about smoking meat, the restaurant business, Shayne going to college, and so much more. Here's part 1. Let's go, loser.
What's up, Texas boys?
What's going on?
Living the dream, baby.
Thank you for driving out. That was a drive, huh?
About an hour and 15?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No.
Really?
Of course, I got a heavy foot.
When I mapped your restaurant, Shayne's like, Gabe was in town. Shayne was like, come on. Like, day of. I'm like, man, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, probably, well.
He couldn't pull the trigger. But it was about...
You think I'm going to come out there and not, like, tie one on with you guys? I got to be like...
I got room in my ranch. There's plenty of room, man.
Yeah. But I needed a plan for that because I have work. I was actually moving that day. I was about to send you a picture of a bunch of boxes. I had to move apartments. So I had boxes filled and it was a pain. Moving's a pain.
Tell me about it.
So you got a restaurant.
I do. We got a restaurant in Stephenville, Texas.
Stephenville, Texas.
Rodeo cowboy capital of the world.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a cowboy capital, rodeo cowboy. Yeah.
What's the restaurant called?
Newton's Saddle Rack.
Newton's Saddle Rack.
A little apropos, cowboy image.
Yeah.
Newton's Web. Tawdry web of love.
When did you open this thing?
We opened it, we first started doing pop-ups August of, 2021.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we opened it right in the middle. I'm one of those smart son of guns. I opened up a restaurant during the middle of the pandemic. I don't wait till the beginning of it. Fire right off in the middle, man.
Did you get cheaper rent because of it?
My rent's pretty reasonable, but it's just Stephenville didn't have a restaurant like this. And they had asked me, a group of young guys, kind of the Young Turks of Stephenville, these group of men, they're late 30s, early 40s, said, hey, we want a restaurant. They showed me one that was huge. I go, I want something small and quaint.
Yeah. And
they showed me this building with seats 49 on one side and couldn't even get a liquor license there at the beginning because it was, liquor by the drink, private club. So to get that process of having one is quite laborious. So we started out just BYOB and doing steaks and our food. And we did some pop-ups. And then November 1, almost 2 years now, we fired it off. Well, we wanted my landlord, who's part of the group that wanted me to come in, owned the building next to it. And I said, well, if that thing ever comes open, let's see if we can get it. Well, the guy shot us down, but he had the building on the other side of me, and the lady bailed. So we literally, this is an old rock building. These built in 1888.
What?
There's like 12-inch walls of limestone. We got a guy come saw cut a 12-inch opening into it, a 48-inch opening. We opened our bar next door and got our liquor license. Well, we got our private license.
So what's the difference? You got liquor license and private license?
Private club license. So you have to be a private club. You have to have members. So if you come in, you have to swipe their numbers. Well, no sooner we got it last August, in November, they passed a referendum to make it, open. So now we're trying to get our regular liquor license, which has been a challenge.
Does it cost a lot?
Not bad. Less than 10 grand, but just the labor to go through. Matter of fact, we got to call that fella. I've been trying since January to get this new one, and we opened our bar up at a different address. Mm-hmm. So instead of switching over easy, it's jumping through hoops.
It's a lot. That's the hard part about restaurants. It's just the regulations. That's got to be one of those challenging parts, right?
I think that in the employees.
You got Shayne over here.
Now, that's the easy part. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
We're all used to working under pressure. 45 minutes, get food out start to finish. So we know how to work, but getting people to show up. And I'm not sounding like this old grumpy old man, but man, no one wants to work. Or if they do, they want to come in and work. Like last night, there was a fit in the restaurant because they wanted to leave because the rush was over. They want to get out. They're like, no.
Yeah.
I get just beat my head against the wall. But, I mean,
they say that the restaurant business is great if you take out all the people and and all the customers.
Yeah, our customers, we've had a couple of customers who are paying, but, here, I'm 6-year-old, can be that grumpy old man. I just tell him to get out of there, and just hit it. I had told one guy, he was complaining about, hey, I've been waiting 30 minutes for my steak. Well, you ordered it well done. It's a 2-inch steak. I go, it's pan-seared. And he goes, well, if you don't have it out, I go, tell you what, sir, down the street they have this little place called McDonald's, has a drive-up window. You can tear your ass down there and go get something to eat.
Hell yeah.
So everybody stared at me. I said, I don't care. We're no hurry. So I went inside and I go, you wanted the steak well done. Here's an old cowboy who wants a well done steak. And I go, all right. So we pulled it off the grill and we had this little thing called the side oven, a.k.a. microwave. I put it in there for 2 minutes, came out, split it up, and put it in front. I go, there you go. We'll wait for the rest to get their food, though. You go ahead. So one of the members of his party came back by the kitchen, closed. We have a bathroom. He's saying, he's a big boy. This corn-fed guy. He goes, can I talk to you? And I go, oh, here we go. I'm about to throw number 2 out. And he goes, man, I can't think, that's my father-in-law, and he's a jackass. Because that was bad. That was awesome.
That's awesome.
So I kept going by and just hey, how's that steak? Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, great. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Microwave steak. Man, I had back before I was cooking, I was waiting tables at a California Pizza Kitchen in Florida.
Oh wow!
And this one opened up, and it was the second busiest in the company next to Hawaii. Hawaii was like their busiest one.
Oh my gosh!
And I got to go open the store because I had already trained in California, so I knew the menu. So I was like, I was ready to make some money, and I was making at a California Pizza Kitchen, I was making $200-300 in a shift, cash. It was insane. Anyway, there was one day, and I would always take the patio because everyone wanted to sit on the patio, and none of the servers wanted to work it because it was the furthest from the kitchen. So it was a hard shift to work, but you'd make the most money. Anyway, I'll never forget this couple, this 2 older people, snowbirds, whatever. They didn't said a word to each other the whole time. Dude was reading a book, and she was just sitting there staring off into space, contemplating, her miserable life. And
his murder.
Yeah, exactly. And she ordered a Thai chicken salad, and she ordered a full size. We were crushed this day. We were getting slammed, so everything was taking a long time. And a half came out, and I don't remember if I messed up and rang in a half, or if the food runner grabbed a half. I think it was the food runner grabbed a half size, brought it out. She said, "This is not the right size," and I was like, "Okay, would you want to?" I just took it back to the kitchen. I was like, guys, we need this to be a full. It was taking forever, and I'm waiting on all these tables out there, and I can see her. She's getting pissed. And husband hasn't said a thing. And then she stops me. She goes, if this is gonna take any longer, we're gonna leave. And I go, lady, there's kids in this world that won't eat today. You can wait another 5 minutes. And old man closed his book and sat it down and goes, I need to speak to your manager. I was like, get up and follow me. I'll take you right to him.
Oh my gosh.
Hit up the guy with the fish.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I think I'll jump through hoops.
Yeah.
And he'll jump through hoops. And was it you or Tony? No, Sean from my season 8 came in to cook and did a pop-up in the restaurant.
Okay.
So the next night, he's just on the grill. He's cooking. He just wants it. And of course, he's from the Northwest, and this guy were sea bass. And so we send it out to him. He goes, nope, it's not thick enough. It was the tail section of a sea bass. Beautiful piece. Sends it back to the kitchen. I said, all right, get him a thick piece. Sean got one about, a good 1.5 inches. Send out. But the way we set it, it goes in a bowl that's kind of deep, and he sent me, he goes, nope, that's not going to work to the waiter. And they come get me. And I go out, I said, all right, let me go out there and find out what's going on. Well, he has the waiter corner. He goes, yeah, well, that wasn't thick enough. I go, sir, it was that thick. Follow me to the damn kitchen. And he gets up, and I take him right through the middle of the kitchen, pull him in the kitchen, and I said, get that fish off that bowl. He didn't put it on a plate, and I go, there you go, sir. He goes, oh, that'll work.
And
you're damn right.
Fish.
Same fish.
Same piece.
I go, damn right.
Man, some people just need to be told. They need to be put in their place.
There's a great thing, and you should be doing more talking than I am. But
we're going to get to them.
We have a French chef that power went off. There we go. And it says, and I saved a picture. It's actually pretty cool. And you know, we're in a business. We are customer service. We want to make everybody happy, but there's certain people you're just not going to make happy.
Yeah, there's people that just come in that just aren't happy. They're never
do nothing
happy,
about
and they
that.
do it at every restaurant.
Yeah. And so we're sitting there, and so Tony, a French chef of mine, sent me this picture.
You got a French chef out in the middle of.
Oh yeah. He says no. The customer isn't always right. Not even close.
Yeah,
I'm hanging that in the restaurant.
that's funny.
But you have to do. You have to. You know.
So Shayne, how long you been working?
So I've been there for probably 3 months now.
Yeah.
I started going to Tarleton, and I'm staying with Chef and working at the restaurant. So college work and
What
a lot of
college you
fun.
going to?
Tarleton State.
Tarleton. I don't even know what that
It's
is.
in Stephenville.
Yeah.
Part of the A&M,
Okay.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just saw the Texas A&M logo on the back of a truck, but the way that they do the logo, it looks like ass to mouth.
I never thought about that.
I'm like, no, they didn't either.
Gives new meaning from farm to table.
No kidding, huh?
So 3 months, and you loving it?
I'm loving it. It's definitely a lot different from where I'm from because I'm from Houston,
Okay.
and I went to a high school. There was 1,000 kids in my class, you know, and so going from that to Stephenville, where it was a big reality check and it's a lot different. The area I live in has grown up. I'm sure, like where you're from, Dallas, you know, there's everything you could ever need in a 2-mile radius.
Yeah.
And so going
Not
to
that
Stephenville,
way out there.
it's different, and I mean, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's different for me, but I could definitely see myself. I couldn't see myself going back.
To Houston?
Honestly, no.
Really?
I mean, my family lives there, so of course I'll go back. But
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself living there in the future.
But you're done with the big city.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Wow.
Well, you know, it's kind of weird that if you really want some quality food, I mean, you know, like to go to a grocery store, we got to go to
To
Fort
Weatherford.
Worth. Yeah, Weatherford or Fort Worth.
How far is that drive?
It's about 35 minutes from the
35
ranch.
45
minutes
has
to-
been.
So, I mean, a deer could just travel through the backyard. You could get that faster than going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, we got cattle out there too.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, if you want things, but it is kind of good to go into the city. But you know, the more I go in, I think, and you're the same way. We're like, oh, you know,
Just the traffic. People don't know how to drive.
Dude, the people don't know how to drive out
No
here.
clue at all.
It's
that's everywhere.
wild. And I feel like I'm the only one honking my horn. My client told me, don't honk your horn. Everyone's got a gun. But I'm from LA. Like, I honk my horn. Like, I'm like, if you're doing something stupid, I'm going to, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like the only horn out here.
It is, and people. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of joke about it. If you're over 60 years old here, you know, you don't have to use your side mirrors or rear view mirror.
They don't.
No,
You guys want some water? You want some water?
I'm doing good over here right now.
What do you want, sparkling or?
You know what? I'm in a sparkling kind of
You
mood. today.
feeling like
You do look a little
you
sparkly
sparkling,
over there.
Shayne?
I feel like a rock star right now.
Here.
I do just drink right out of this.
No, I got you a cup over there. It says
This
for
is- yeah.
Fox's sake on it.
Oh my gosh. Water in a coffee cup, eh?
So that sea bass on the menu, it's got to be hard to get sea bass out here, huh?
Well, here's what's crazy. I used to drive in Fort Worth to get fresh fish.
Okay.
And I admit that I'll tell this to everybody. So this guy purveyor, they're out. We got there at 7:00 in the morning. They're already out.
Shit.
So this guy goes, "Come here, I want to show you this." There's a guy. This is Restaurant Depot. And he goes, "Come here and look." So he takes me to the freezer and pulls out this sea bass. And I have frozen. He goes, "No." They catch it, they fillet it, they process it on the boat and fry back it.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, I had people go, "It's the freshest they ever have." And it really is, because Texas, you know, we're so close to the ocean. You know,
Yeah, but it's a Gulf. You're not
Yeah.
getting. You're
and
not
you know,
getting
and this coming out
Chilean down
Chileans,
there.
yeah. So you know, by the time they get it here, get it shipped, they put
Yeah.
it to one purveyor, get it shipped into Dallas, get it to that purveyor. It's not fresh,
Yeah.
and this stuff is fresh and you know, listen,
I'm not against it if it's done like that. And certain fish, I mean, Chilean's so fatty, like it's gonna be good either way.
Yeah.
It
You know?
holds its own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about. Hold on. In fact, I gotta bring this quote up. This is You realize what you two got in common?
From Texas, we're handsome devils.
Man.
The women dig us.
Lady killers.
Lady
where I was
killers.
going with that.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
lady
I-
killers.
I gotta bring this
Some
quote.
good
lady
DNA.
killer. You said, Newton. You said, I'm like an old locomotive. I'm a little slow to get started, but it's gonna be hard as hell to stop me. What you guys are trains? You're a locomotive, Shayne the train.
Yeah, we and we call them the locomotive now.
Yeah.
Do
that's
you?
it, Yeah.
Not the
You
Chinese
upgraded?
locomotive
I
now.
upgraded. I tell you what.
Why? How'd you upgrade?
I don't know. I mean,
we laugh a lot. We laugh a lot, you know. And
how can you not with this guy in your kitchen? I mean,
I know.
And if
the
you
head chef there, I mean, she loves me, but she definitely gets annoyed because I'm the type of person where
she does.
Other people in the kitchen necessarily, like, I can talk and do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, on MasterChef, we had cameras in our face talking while we have 45 minutes to make this exquisite dish, you know?
Yeah.
So we had to do that.
Well, and you just don't. Once you get going, you don't stop.
No, I don't.
But
That's how you got it.
Our one-liners, though. We
we get on a roll, I tell you what.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just in people to. And Whitley is our executive chef. She's awesome.
Her name's Willie?
And just with what I've done in my
Whitley
Bettis, and she's
I like
awesome.
that
She
name.
went to Culinary Institute, and she's 25 now.
6.
Okay.
7. I don't
26,
know.
running your
Yeah.
kitchen, huh? That's
And
awesome.
she does, and she's a hard worker. She's a junior national former drag. She's
drag racing.
beautiful, yeah, drag race. And her brother, her whole family is, and it's a small world. With my health now, I've learned how to be a restaurateur and not much of a chef. You know, trying to keep your pulse on it. But she runs a kitchen. She's a little dry, and then you have us two characters.
Oh, yeah.
And
I probably irritate her to another level, but I'm like, because I don't stop talking once I get on a roll.
I know, man.
she came out. We had Gabe up, and we had Sean up cooking. And we had him
I want to come out.
And
these we want to. We did these personalities. We're bouncing around, and oh my God!
And I haven't
came out of the
seen-
kitchen. She
Oh
goes,
yeah,
"You
she
won't
was fed
shut
up with me.
You think I can tell him to shut up? I can't get a word in edgewise. It doesn't matter. And I think even Gabe was getting a little irritated that day. But
Yeah,
I love a quiet kitchen, man. Like I don't even turn on music. Like I like to hear the food. I really do. People always ask me, well, what kind of music? Because like, you know, the rock and roll vibes. Like, what kind of music you listen to while you cook? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
we had Chef Tony Bard, and Tony and I were on Supermarket Stakeout together.
Oh, you did that?
I did.
I almost did it. And
Second place.
I turned it down because they wanted me to be in this long ass contract. I was like, guys, for one episode, I was like, I'm not doing 6. I was like, I'm not doing a 1-year contract. You guys are crazy. They're like, okay, how about 6 months? I was like, how about 0? And they're like, how about 3 months? I was like, if you can come down from a year, you can come down to 6 months, you can come down to 3 months,
You can do
do
0.
0. I don't want to be in a contract with you guys. I'll be on the show, and that's it.
Yeah. I don't even remember if I did. I don't ever care. You know, contracts are meant to be broken.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's
Now,
what I've been doing.
MasterChef is super. Hey, well, let's go back in our contract, see if he screwed up somewhere along the way.
yeah.
But
Okay, well, I want to ask you before, because you know you are a guy that you have a life, you have everything going. You got a ranch. You're out in the middle of Texas. You have a wife.
right.
How many kids you got?
7.
7 kids.
8.
8. I'm sorry, my foster child. My second foster child.
That's my second dad.
What in your life drove you to just audition for MasterChef?
You know, that's a great question. And what had happened was I moved out when I was young.
You
My
did?
family had a big farm out in the Metroplex.
Okay.
And so I moved
How
out
old?
at very young, 16 years old, and I was living
Okay.
on my own. And so I started cooking. Then I had 2.
Yeah, but in 1930, that was like normal, right?
It was. I drove my horse half uphill through the snow to back home uphill through the snow. You know, but I mean that Abe Lincoln, what a professor. So,
God damn it! I almost spit water everywhere.
I started cracking up and just being that type of guy that I don't cook. But I was blessed. My mom wasn't a super nice person, and and my dad's I'm 4th generation Texan. I'm 5th generation. And I had 2 aunts. One on my father's side, who she lives in Houston. She's still alive. She's 90 years old, and she's a great Southern cook.
Okay.
And on my mother's side, my uncle had married a French prima ballerina from Nice, France. Nice, France, if you're from Texas. And she was incredible. And so I had these 2 great aunts, but the juxtaposition between these 2, there was always good food.
Like
yeah.
Southern and fine dining.
Yeah. And, you know, cassoulet when I'm
Man,
5.
I'm jealous.
She made crepes Suzette when I was like 5 years old, and I was hooked.
That was it. That was your
Just some
moment.
skinny pancakes. But, you know.
That's what.
Yeah. But, you know, I had this, and so I just always did. So I moved on, and like after high school, I went to semester 1 college. I mean, college 1 semester. I looked at my dad, and I go like, you know, man, don't waste my time and save your money.
Yeah.
And I did. I wanted to go live. I wanted to go make money. I wanted to go see the world where, you know, I had a brother my brother still lives 5 miles from where we grew up. And my other brother was a dancer and choreographer, and he traveled. And so I wanted to go see things. I didn't get married the first time until I was 37. So I was always a bachelor cooking. I went to work on a ranch, ran a ranch up in Paris, Texas, and came back about 22 years old. And then I got in the restaurant business by accident, and started washing dishes, and then I got cooking and then waiting tables mainly and bartending. I did that until 37. I got married my first time, and I loved the restaurant business. My dad used to always tease me. He goes, "When you can get a real job?" I'm like, "Dude." I left the restaurant business.
The restaurant is a realist job.
Well, they think, you got to go. My dad's that old school guy that, worked for a company, get your gold watch, and retire. And I said, Dad, I work whenever I want. I can take a vacation whenever I want, as long as I cover my shift. I go home with cash at the end of the night. Yeah. And I have no homework. I have no work I take home with me. Yeah. I'm only as good as my last shift. So as I do a good job, and I did it. And I go like, man, I was a cyclist, a runner, football, rodeo, rugby, and I always was doing something. So what a great schedule to go do that on. Yeah. And if you need to make a couple $100 back then, you go pick up a shift, and lots of times you get off work early on, you still could go to clubs without blowing all the money or doing anything, and, go and do the things you want. So I think he finally saw it one time. He goes like, you know what, out of all my kids, you've never asked to borrow money from me. Like, and he goes like, well, maybe it's not so bad. And then I got married, and by that time I was living in Phoenix. And so I became an instant dad, but, I started a little construction company when Phoenix was taking off, and then it grew, got into trucking, demolition, excavation, but always cooked, always barbecued, and people go like, how you do it? So to get to your story, I moved back home here, went through a divorce, moved back home, married a girl I grew up with since first grade. And we had a friend that said, you need to go try out for this show. So I tried out. It was food. It was on NBC, food with Adam Rich. Food. It only lasted one season, but the casting director remembered me for MasterChef. She was doing that, so she said, "Hey, you got to try it out." Well, in the interim of doing that show, I had a stroke, and I was in hospital in January. So I get this call from her, and she goes, "Hey, Kelly Mock, Casey, Kelly Mock," and she go. And also she goes, "Hey, it's Kelly Mock. I'm Food Fighters." But I'm with MasterChef. I'd like to try. I said, "Well, that's okay, but I'm in the hospital with a stroke." She goes, "That's okay. It's in April. Trials." So in the interim, my wife and I had gotten this ranch, and I was out there. It was a rainy Saturday. I had to go try out. And I was out there, just boots and jeans, my regular repertoire, cowboy hat and everything. And my wife goes, "Are you going to go?" And after you have a stroke, you become a little petulant. Yeah. And I don't know. My wife's a good Southern Baptist girl. She goes, "I don't give a damn if you don't go, but never bitch about it." I went, If you know my wife's 5'1". And I go, all right, honey. So I don't have anything. She goes, "You got a pork chop in there." So then, you have to put your thing. So I tenderized a pork chop. I chicken fried it. I did it with jalapeno cream gravy. I made green chili chicken enchiladas, and I made guacamole, chipotle guacamole. Put a cold and hot bag. Left the ranch an hour and a half in here to the Marriott downtown Dallas. Yeah. And when I did Food Fighters, just one other person in the interview. There's like 5,000 people that week. And I look around, I go like, oh, hell. And she walked right by and saw me. And my wife goes, "Are you going to change clothes?" I go, "Nope." I'm going like, I had a hoodie on, I had mud head to toe. It was a raining ass day. I get out of my truck, go in there, and I go into this room. There's 50 of us. And people are dressed to the nines. The girl next to me was wearing the Christian Louboutin shoes. Yeah. And you saw all kinds of food. And then I come in and pull this food out, and people looking at the shit. I'm the first guy they tried in that room. And the guy goes, "What is this?" "It's chicken fried pork chop. I brined it, but I had brined and I tenderized it, and I did it with jalapeno cream gravy and blah, blah, blah." He goes, "I want to tell you, we ate at the Rustic last night. They had this shit. I would have eaten." He called the other chef over, and they go like, and the guy's from France. You tell you're French, and it's coming with the guy's accent. I go, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Paris." I go, "Texas?" And he goes, "France." So he goes, "Man, it was good." And pretty much then, you go into the interview process, and then,
But what, were you watching MasterChef before? It's okay. You didn't say me. Okay.
I didn't watch it, and then all of a sudden I did watch it, and I'm like, damn, this is going to be fun if I get on.
Right. But so you just because, but okay.
A friend told me to go try.
A friend just told you to do it.
She signed me up for it. She signed me up for that first show. And then I got out of that, got the interview, and then I did it. And I go like, you know what? Think about this. I've always said this. When the best times of our lives, no matter how wealthy or poor you are, probably the greatest memories are around the dinner table.
Yeah. Amen to that.
And, in food. And I've always loved to cook. And you know, and like I said, my mom was a Midwestern British, you know, and so it wasn't a huggy type family.
Right.
But so my way of giving back love was through feeding you through your belly, cooking.
Yeah.
And my aunts and uncles, my grandmother was a badass cook.
Yeah.
And so, you know, food was love to me. You know, my dad and I we'd all go deer hunting down at the ranch in South Texas. And we'd go hunt all day, you know, and then we'd look like, well, we'd have chicken fried steak. But my dad, like we do in our restaurant, we made our chicken fried steak out of steak.
Yeah.
Not a round steak, sometimes we did it out of sirloin, but we did it that way. And people go, how do you take a perfectly good steak? And I go, well, easy. Knife and fork is how I eat it. So that was my thing. So I got on the show and I go like, you know, and I got there, I was really arrogant and cocky.
Yeah, that's what the internet said too.
Because I thought, you know what, man, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to throw food out there that people like. And then they go like, all right, you got to do this. Oh, and holy shnikes, I got to do this. But I left MasterChef more open-minded about food. Not that I didn't I love food. But the ability of going doing things, instead of taking the path of least resistance, doing things I've never done.
Yeah.
We just did individual beef Wellingtons, for example, in the restaurant.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
When you get out of your comfort zone, you learn about yourself. Yeah. For sure. I try to put myself there constantly. I mean, you know, it's one of those things you'll really, it humbles you. It gives you new perspective. Perspective is like when you start playing with different perspectives, it changes everything. Okay, so I want
to. For him, this is what I want to say, though, but he's doing a show. How old were you when you were on the 10?
I was 12.
12.
When you did MasterChef the first
12
time?
12-year-old watching these kids cook, and
right.
You know, I'm in my 50s. You know, I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Well, yeah.
You have to be pumping them out, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but you know, but to watch these kids go have that passion and to do that.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Well, so that's what I wanted to ask you. So, because I've interviewed a lot of people and definitely with different shows too. There's usually when people try out for these shows, it's a lot of the times it's an act of desperation. I mean, that's what it was for me. I was at a low point. I had nothing else. I was like, I need to like win some money or something because I need to change my life. Like my life was not going good. But for you, like you've had a life, right? And you show up when you show up. And then for you, you're just getting started. You're 12 years old. You got nothing to worry about. You got 2 parents that take care of you. Like, were you a fan of MasterChef?
So I have an interesting story how I ended up on MasterChef Junior too.
Let's hear it.
So my brother, I have an older brother. We're a year and 6 days apart. And so going into middle school, I was like in 6th grade when I was on MasterChef, right? And so going in from middle school, we got middle school sports, you know?
Yeah.
And so my brother being a year older than me, we both tried out for the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I may not look like a good basketball player, but trust me, back then I could throw down on the court, you know? Like I was... I'd
hard in the paint?
Oh, I tell you what, I was a sharpshooter.
Okay.
But not anymore. Don't worry about that. But so my brother ended up making the team and I didn't. And so, of course, I was pretty bummed out. And, of course, that first Saturday, they had the first game. And then so my mom, I was pretty bummed out. And this is how God works in my life. It's pretty crazy. And so I had that game that first Saturday. And my mom was like, instead of going to the game, why don't we go to the MasterChef Junior open call? And so I ended up going to the open call.
So your mom knows you like cooking?
I've always loved to cook. I've always had a passion for it. I'm the type of person where whatever we're doing, I like to be the center of attention. And
clearly.
On Sunday afternoons, where's everyone at? Watching football in the kitchen, you know? And so my mom just wouldn't let me stand there. And so she put me to work at a young age, and I found out I really enjoyed it.
She was trying to shut him up, and she
it doesn't work. Yeah.
He can just talk and cook.
My mom says she likes me better on TV because she can mute me. So. I don't know how I feel about that one.
It's the truth.
So your mom takes you to the MasterChef Junior tryouts.
I go with one of my friends at the time, and we go to the open call. I mean, not expecting anything at all.
What did you make?
So it was a little different on the juniors.
Okay.
So we didn't necessarily bring any food the first time. We went there, and we had to cook an egg anyway and cut up some vegetables, right?
Okay.
And so people, they set pans in front of you, all this. There's about 30 kids in this room, and everyone's scrambling an egg. And so, you know what? I mean, at the time, I've never really poached an egg, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to poach it. And then
I love it.
I'm like, hey, can I get a pot? And the guy looks at me like I'm crazy, you know? I'm like, he goes, why do you need a pot? You have a pan right there. I said, well, I'm going to poach the egg. And then he goes, you're going to what? I said, I'm going to poach it. And he goes, okay, I'll get you a pot. And so he brings me the pot, and I poach the egg. And it turned out perfect. And they're all looking at me like I'm crazy, you know? This kid next to me just cracked an egg in a pan, had some eggshells in there, and I'm like... But so long story short, we ended up doing that, and
He won that season, though. That kid did.
Yeah, I know that
Joke,
kid.
that's a
he went
joke.
all the
I'm
way.
joking.
Oh,
No.
I was like, what?
But so, long story short, they said if you get a call back, which most of you won't, it'll be around 2 to 3 weeks. And I got a call back on the ride home.
Yeah.
And then so over a 6-month process, with background checks
Yeah.
and all that,
Yeah.
I ended up flying out to LA and history from there.
Yeah. So tell me about when you got the call for Back to Win. What were you doing?
I was actually at Whataburger. And then I get this encrypted email. And I'm like, what's going on here? You hacked my bank account. And then so I had to sign something before they'd even tell me what they're talking about.
Really?
Yeah. I had to
That's
sign
not what
something.
it went for me, but okay.
So I signed something, and
They're like, this kid talks a lot. We got to make him
so
sign.
yeah, I'm sitting at Whataburger and I sign it, and then within 2 minutes I get a phone call.
Mhm.
And they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Can you talk?" It's so and so from MasterChef. So I was thinking, I've been back to MasterChef probably about 3 times since my show, because I did a celebrity edition with Eric Stone Street.
Really?
I was a judge for Anthony Anderson and Gordon versus Christina Tosi and another lady, and it was me, a girl from my season, and Sean O'Neill were the judges.
And you are not a winner.
Nuh-uh.
That's wild.
And
But
then,
his personality is so big.
Yeah.
Eric Stone Street, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We messed up on that, but we cooked against couldn't even tell you his name, and some other girl from MasterChef. And there I got to meet Emmett Smith and Jerry Rice, and I filmed the commercial with them. And so the stairs, right? Like the stairs behind
Yeah.
MasterChef that you
Yeah.
walk up. I'm sitting over there, and they're like, Shayne. They pulled me from the green room and stuff. They're like, hey, we want you to be in the commercial. And so it's like a Thanksgiving thing. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. I mean, I missed a football game for this. It was football season. I was in high school. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I go over to the area to do the commercial, and they have these 2 20-pound turkeys. And they're like, hey, we need you to carry these up the stairs. And so up the stairs, it was Emmett Smith, Jerry Rice, and Gordon all sitting in a circle talking.
Mother.
And then so I'm carrying these turkeys up the stairs, and I walk in there, and I'm like, did anyone order any turkeys? Something like that. I don't know, something like that. And no joke, it took 12 cuts.
You got to do that 12 times?
Yeah, and I'm carrying these 2 20-pound turkeys going up the stairs.
Damn.
But so I got to do a lot of cool stuff with MasterChef.
So in that commercial, did you get residuals from it?
What's that mean?
God
Do
dang.
you get paid for residuals, or were they giving you
No.
That's messed up. This is the part that I don't like about reality TV is it takes our stories to give a show. Right?
Yeah, you can't do it without us,
They focus on our stories so much, and we get a per diem. And this time, we got half the per diem.
Wasn't it $100?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah, they screwed us this time. But like all reality competition, you should get the SAG day rate at the very least. Like we're
The hours we went through.
the amount of money these producers and these hosts are making.
I don't even wanna
Especially
know.
back to when we went back there and they kept us those rooms for days on end.
Oh yeah, I was.
I mean,
scratching the walls.
the sad part was I'd open my window in my room, and I was on the back side of the hotel, so I got the smoke from the kitchen. Every morning it was bacon, and it was 2 bacons. The bacon they were cooking in the kitchen, and people were baking on the patios outside.
Right.
It smelled like I smelled nothing but pot and turkey. I mean, sausage and bacon for.
Well, lucky you. I don't know what I don't know. I don't remember my room. Yeah, but I mean, like, what they make so much money off of us.
Yeah, they
and it's
do.
our stories. We should be getting. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I feel like something needs
But
to be
other
done.
shows pay though. I think it's just MasterChef.
No. Depending, like depends on the show. Like I think Bachelor, those kind of shows pay. I don't know. I got to get a Bachelor on here and figure it out. But like what's this?
Summer Steakhouse.
Yeah, what'd they pay you?
We did pretty good. Like I got second place. I didn't get anything.
Well, no,
But I mean,
your
they're
day
paying
rate
you.
to be
I think
there.
they're paying. I think I walked away with like $500 for 3 days.
Man, that's but still.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
And
it was
that
not-
show, it's not like they're paying hosts like Gordon Ramsay. That
No.
show's a low budget
Garrett
show.
Shelley, I had Garrett Shelley, Eddie Jackson.
Have you looked up to see how much Gordon makes per episode of MasterChef?
200.
It's like $275.
Yeah.
That's
more than what you
astonishing.
win. He's making a day.
In one
Every time he
episode.
stands out on that fucking stage, he's making
In
more
one
than what
day.
You
you
get a
win.
couple of Michelin stars and they overpay you.
One day.
He's got a lot. But,
He's got
I mean,
he's got
look,
11 of them.
Look, I think he deserves it. I'm not saying he does it. I'm not envious of that at all. I think he
It's
absolutely
just crazy though.
because he fucking works so hard. But what I'm saying is none of that works without our stories because they don't. How much of the fucking cooking do they show? Hardly nothing. So why not?
Well, this last one, the Roto-Rooter man got more TV time than I did.
Who's Roto-Rooter?
The Roto-Rooter commercial, it was lasted longer than mine. You saw they killed us all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I even said when we went to the rodeo, I was like, man, Newton would have loved this one.
I would have.
Did you watch the season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got like my wife goes, you should have been in that one.
I know you should.
And see, he came to Stephenville.
But I crushed that one.
You did?
did?
Oh, I saw
that's
that
right.
one. That one was a little interesting.
The Cowboy. Wait, you weren't there?
No, no. I got eliminated right before that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You weren't at the rodeo?
Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I have to
How
say
do
to
you
you?
give somebody
Hold on.
Ethiopian food?
You want to know something though? I
What?
want to say this to you, and I truly mean this. You gave Ethiopia more like respect than Shanika did with Italian.
Yeah.
You should not have gone home on that. That was BS.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, when I got eliminated on the juniors, it was a shock because Gordon literally had me turn around when he cut into my pork chop because I didn't cut into him. You know how he is dramatic. Yeah. He had me turn around. It was cooked perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
and so it needed a little more salt. And I'm okay with that, a little more salt. And the other girl who made it to the finale, her lamb was a little overcooked. So when you think about it, what's more important,
Right.
And that's what it came down to. And when I got sent home, I was astonished. When on the juniors. But this time around, I'll be the first to tell you, I screwed up, Like, I'm not going to sit there and hide from it and say...
Yeah, but you first of all, we have to take into account, you had the hardest cuisine to do because none of us are sitting around eating Ethiopian food and studying that.
There's only 2 in Houston, 2 Ethiopian restaurants in all Houston.
And there's quite a few in LA, but like, I mean... Still, it's like that's not what we're seeking out to go eat. We're not going to go sit down at an Ethiopian restaurant. And like for us in the U.S., when we're raised, we think of Ethiopia as this like third world country. We don't know we're not taught about it, so we have no idea. So you're not thinking of what to do with Ethiopian. But what you did do was, I think you did a better job with that fusion than Shanika did with Italian. She put salmon on top of polenta. Like, how is that Italian?
I have no clue.
That pissed me off a lot.
And the thing about that, when I pulled that flag, actually, it's funny. I think you remember me saying it. Gordon goes, Shayne, what flag do you have? I said, to be honest, Chef, I don't even know. Like, the first 20 minutes I held that flag, I didn't know what I had. I was compensating, like, what could this be?
Yeah.
But
that was rough, man.
It was eventful. It was a fun hour, I tell you what. It was a fun hour.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have been at that rodeo because I fucking crushed it.
I would have loved to have been there.
Yo, so
because they came in on horses.
Well, we had those giant grills, and they had big old wheels.
You had one at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, I have a thing about Gordon is I watch him and I listen to him, and sometimes you have to really listen close. You do the opposite of what he says. Like he'll say something, and it's to get you to go a way that you don't want to go, or you gotta read between the lines with him. But also, so he comes over, he goes, this is what you need to do with these steaks. And I'm like, cool. He's telling us this is how it needs to go. And I followed that to a T. I cooked every one of those steaks, and I had Michael basting every one of those steaks. And I cooked every one of them too.
What'd y'all baste them with?
We made this like Chipotle honey barbecue.
Yeah.
I think.
I made that last night at the restaurant.
Why?
A Chipotle honey barbecue sauce.
That's your thing?
Well, I got sent home on that. On this one, back to the thing, Gordon goes to me, he goes, so you did a steak. It's, Brian O'Brien did his, and Brian started it too early.
He's annoying. I can't wait to have him on
he was trying to talk about Escoffier, and Joe lit him up like a firecracker. I was like, oh, thanks for taking the cannon fodder for me. So I did the same steak, and I basted just a little bit of a honey chipotle. I did sweet and tangy barbecue, just a glaze on it. And then he got after me about it. He goes, why would you take a beautiful steak like this and put a barbecue sauce when Bowen took filet that was already made?
Was yours a filet, though, too?
I had the filet.
Yeah. I mean, we had ribeyes. So it's a different cut of meat. I don't know. I'm not defending it. But I know it. But that's
and
the
then
thing
he
about
was filet inside a dumpling.
Yeah, pre-ground filet.
Pre-ground filet and did it in a dumpling. I go like, well, I could have done that, hell.
And then Felix grounded her own and did all that, made her own dough, did all that. I was a little shocked when I saw that. I thought Felix sure.
I was for sure thought Felix was
No,
in.
me too.
I was bummed.
Well, Steven crushed it in ours.
That was also Brie and...
The rabbit and donut and rabbit.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant dude, man.
I liked him a lot.
I was really bummed he went so early because he was...
he did. I mean, I think...
He was going to do some shit, man.
Oh, he's incredible.
Steven was funny, and he kind of scared me a little bit. We were on the bus.
He is scary.
We were on the bus, and I don't know if you were on there, but all of a sudden, he wore those headphones, right? I don't know if they were headphones. I think they were just noise
No,
canceling.
they're headphones,
They
but he
were?
never turns them on.
Oh, okay. So he wore these headphones, and all of a sudden, the radio turned on, and it was static. And he kind of like went like this and like looked around, and I was like, "Oh gosh!" And then he just started screaming. He's like, "Turn that radio off now," because it's like the static noise, And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, he's intense.
He offered me to
What?
come out there and work for him though too.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
He is.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
He got Bowen all twerked out in ours.
yeah,
Bowen was like scared. I said, let's say if you're scared, get on that side of me. He ain't gonna do it. He's a nice guy. He's just having fun.
yeah. He loves fucking with people.
Yeah.
He did. Bowen was like coming out of his skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
You-
cracking up.
You should have Steven come out to your.
I'd
place.
love to have Steven out. Me and Steven hit off, and people go like, "Doesn't he?" You know what? Steven was a kid in high school, or you had in high school that sat at the back of the room, kind of kept himself. But when you had him PE or something, you went to go play dodgeball. You want him team because he's going to ding everybody in the head.
Yeah,
he was going
he's
to
a
wear you
sniper.
out.
Yeah, he'll wear
He's
you
a
out.
sniper.
Yeah, he looks at the world differently. It's really really cool. I really admire his just perspective and world outlook.
How's
It's
he
really
doing
cool.
now? I haven't talked to him. How is
He's
he?
crushing it.
Yeah.
He's just
Did he get that food truck up and rolling?
he's got some kind of catering truck.
Yeah, I remember talking to him about that. He showed me it.
He doesn't I don't know how much he serves out of it, but he definitely caters with it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
He does a lot of the private parties.
yeah, he does a lot of private parties. I mean, that's Palm Springs. It's full of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get called in LA to go cook out in Palm Springs, and
Where is he?
it's private stuff. So when you have chefs come into your restaurant, what do you do? How do you
You
do
create
it?
the menu. We just put it out there and we have fun.
The chef creates a menu
Yeah.
and you just do it.
He was
Like a
going to
four-course
try to do
meal.
one with Gabe, but we just got down to timeline. But every month we're trying to bring people in. We got Kate coming in November. Love to have you come out and do one. I think. it'd
Well,
be
I'm only
blast.
here till just before Thanksgiving, and then I won't be back till the New Year.
It'll
so-
be better after the New Year. Holiday season's crazy for us.
Yeah.
Love to have you out. I think that'd be a blast. And
That would
and
be
basically
fun.
we try to do it like on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, like shut down the restaurant and maybe leave the bar open and then have it where it's a sit down. You create the menu. You go.
For me, it's gonna have to be on a weekend.
That's fine. We can do it on a weekend.
You cool with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
We
with
can make it a big Saturday night.
that. Oh yeah, we could have it.
That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Especially in January, February. January, do it then because it's always, and here's the deal. In Stephenville, no pun intended, we're starving for different types of food.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of my nemesis or my Achilles heel there is because I think of great dishes. Like I did ossobuco.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's
And then your
people-
clientele is
yeah,
different.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh. But now they're starting to see a lot of that different stuff. We kind of joke, we did King Ranch casserole for the bar, just the bar.
What is King Ranch casserole?
Yeah, it's basically
Hold
Texas
on.
lasagna.
You break it down.
I love King Ranch chicken. I mean, growing up, my mom would always make it too. You can do it a couple different ways. I mean,
Tell me how
Usually-
you do it.
so what I like to do is you get Doritos, but he does it a little different. He did corn tortillas, but
Okay.
I'd get Doritos, and you lay them on the bottom
Okay.
of your casserole dish, and then you take some cream of chicken, canned cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, and you can get a rotisserie chicken or whatever, and you shred it, and you mix that with the chicken, and you add all your spices, onions, peppers, all that, cook it down,
You cook it. Wait, you cook it down and then you put it over the Doritos.
and then you put it over the Doritos, and then you add cheese, and then you add more Doritos, and then you add more sauce
Heart
and
attack.
more cheese. I tell you what, that's growing up in Texas for you.
Woo!
Dude, look at us, man. These bodies are built by King Ranch Cafe. Now, mine is tortillas, and it's kind of
Okay.
like a Texas lasagna. You
Yeah.
layer it like that, and then you bake it. And so,
Damn.
and there's, like I
Good.
said, it's a variation, of what we do, but it's kind of a cream of chicken soup, and then you add rotel, and that type. But I did a hatch green chili, and then we do our own fresh peppers. And that. So, it's like doing a lasagna. How many different ways do you do a lasagna with a bechamel, or do you do it with ricotta? It's the same kind of thing. But it's kind of a comfort food.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had that, but then you bring certain things like, bring polenta in, and people are like, oh, what's this stuff? Is it grits? Like, we have to kind of ease ourselves. Not saying it's not a sophisticated town, but you have the balance of ranchers and cowboys, and you have
Mhm.
business. And the school he's going to now is a Division I school, and the president of the university, Dr. Hurley, comes in, and he's got a nice palate and bringing nice wines. We're blessed. We have a restaurant or a bar next to us called Hearsay, and it's basically a wine bar. And Lisa and Brady have, brought some nice wines. So, we've got people that are coming in ordering Tignanello in ours and Opus or Camus
Wow.
or, we just got Silver Oak, Silver Joke. And, and so, trying to bring them in and, and getting people to drink different wines too. A Chianti. Well, what's a Tignanello? It's a super Tuscan, and going through those wines. And so we kind of bring that element to it. But we've also kind of stigmatized ourselves. People think of us as a steak place. And we're trying to be both. 2 doors down, we have another restaurant. It's country food. And, his chicken fried steak is made with round steak. Mine's made with New York strip, and so we're trying to create a balance there.
2 chicken fried steaks on the same street?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
I'll whip his ass with mine any day of the week
Let's
and twice
go.
on Sunday.
Let's go.
People do. People come in. I mean, I don't know how many times. This is the best
That's what
chicken
he's
fried
famous
steak.
for, the
Yeah,
chicken fried steak.
fried
I mean, it's steak, I pan-seared. I won on MasterChef doing a pan-seared steak. We don't have a grill. We do all ours pan-seared and cast iron.
You have no grill in the place at all?
No, we got one out back.
Yeah.
Santa Maria grill.
Yeah.
But we do
sorry, go ahead.
No, we have smoked foods. We do a 3-inch porterhouse that we smoke outside first and we sous vide it.
And
we
cut it
sear it.
tableside.
Do you have regulations with sous vide out here?
No.
Yeah, they don't know.
We can use dirty fish water if we wanted to.
LA has so many you have to have a whole HACCP plan for sous vide. You have to mark down the times that thing goes in, comes out, the degree of the water.
And who checks that?
It's a fucking health department, and they'll just
Every time?
We
or-
used to do that.
they'll just pop in. You never know when they're coming.
And so when they do pop in and do that, do you have to have those records for how long in advance?
Whatever they ask for, basically.
God.
It's crazy.
And Whitley's really, this is the beauty of having this girl, Whitley, this lady, and she comes in and she was doing all that. We sous vide so little. I mean, we sous vide and then we put it in. And for example, we're doing a butter poached salmon.
Mm-hmm.
We sous vide. We put it in the refrigerator and then we sear.
Bring it up.
Yeah, and we changed water out. Like I mentioned that. We got
when
water.
the water doesn't matter because
Yeah, it's vacuum sealed.
It's vacuum sealed. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with sous vide too is I use it like a Bain Marie too. So I'll take 2 to a client's house, or sometimes with my private client now, when we do big events.
Oh, yeah.
I'll set one up at 130, 100, depending on what I'm doing, 140, and then I just put all my sauces in the thick soup delis, and I float them in there, and I just leave them, and that clears my whole entire space. That keeps my stove completely open, and you don't
Clean.
burn your sauces, you don't burn your purees. Sous vide is
A lot
amazing
less
for that. You
cleanup.
guys should do that.
Well, we have a steam table. Of course, you got to change, but
That fluctuates.
Yeah, it does, and so that we talk about this. I want to make sure, we do tomahawks. We got a 2-inch tomahawk. We do, and trying to keep that trying to cook that in a flat top skillet or a cast iron is difficult. But what we're doing now is we smoke it. We'll take it up to 122 degrees, which is just under medium rare.
Yep.
Someone wants it rare, we just sear it on both sides and send it out, or we can cook it up. And I like sous vide, and we slowly brought it. I hated. I did some sous vide, and then I got away from sous vide. Typical Texan,
Right.
I can grill my stuff. I don't need to cook it in water. Well, then you start seeing the value of it. We do pork chops that way. Smoke them, sous vide them, bring them up to 140.
Yep.
And I think
Just in the busyness in a restaurant, it's a lifesaver.
It's a lifesaver, and it also you have less loss.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't lose as much food that way because you just have more control of it.
well, also you shorten your time, your table time. If you're sous vide
that too.
thing, you just pan
Yeah.
sear it and send. That's I think.
Although
I want to do more.
a fillet tastes better just pan seared and roasted over sous vide. I stop sous vide on my fillets.
Yeah.
It
I
just-
do we do those all fresh. We salt, pepper them.
Yeah.
We sear them, 3-inch, they're 2 inches. So we sear them 3 minutes on each side, roll the sides on them, and butter baste them and send them out.
So what's the hardest part of owning this restaurant?
The employees.
Really? Keeping the staff.
We're in a college town, so it's very transit.
Yeah.
And you have the kids that come in. Well, I'm going to school. This is not a real job. It's that mentality.
Yeah.
And so we do have. What I found is I like to hire Maya. She's great. She's hungry. She's a Midwestern girl. She comes in. She's ready to work. We got Waverly grew up there. Waverly's not in college. Gifted athlete. Has a young son. He comes in. And he's a worker.
What's the hardest part for you?
Of working in this restaurant?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a lot different because, I go to school Monday through Thursday. And I work Thursday nights. I work Friday and Saturday. It's just the hardest part. I would probably say is just it's like you never stop. It's just keep going.
Yeah, once it starts.
But I wouldn't necessarily say there's anything in particular that's hard for me. I mean,
Would you say the boredom? I mean, maybe not being as creative.
I wouldn't even say that because we have the freedom. We run it normally around 5 specials a week, and that changes weekly. And so there's never
give everyone a special. You let
Well, yeah, and we were just having a conversation with another one of our guys, line cook. He goes, "Well, I got a family at home and I want to do it." I go, "All right, step in and start doing it," because I like change.
You got to mix it up in
There's never a dull
the
moment.
restaurants, because when the line cooks
Never
get
dull.
bored doing the tedious same menu every day, they that's when you lose them.
Well, it's not even I think that they're bored because it's always. I mean, when we do specials, it's not really like they go out of their way to learn it. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
You worked in the restaurant industry as a waiter, and I used to be a professional back in the 80s and 90s, and then we didn't have the internet type stuff, so a chef told you special, you wrote it down, and when you created a new menu, they gave you went home, you studied it. I used to joke about I'd make 2 copies, put one in the back of the toilet and put one next to the swimming pool, because you read anything out there and you learn, and you learn how to, what I call practice, drill, and rehearse. And we can't even get them to write it on the board, even gravitate from it. And it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And, but the other part of it that's rewarding is having him and having Whitley. And we do have a lot of fun. And I want to tell you, our restaurant is run by women. My wife, Crystal behind the bar, and Crystal, and that she's a cowgirl, a horse person, very, she breaks horses and shows them. And so you have a girl that's dedicated, knows what hard work is. She comes in, she's prepared, she does it, and I've turned.
Look, genetically, I feel like women are more organized, so it's a smart move. In the last 6 years that I've been doing all these events, most of the time my whole team's women, and they rock. You can it's more organized. There's not the
machismo.
There's no competition.
Yeah.
Like, you're not trying to compete for anything, and it's just like, I don't know, but that's good. That's probably why you're doing well.
I'd love to do another restaurant and let him have it.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
And I've had to learn to transgress from being a chef to a restaurateur.
Yeah.
And that's a hard transition.
Yeah.
Turning power over, first of all. And, and I have to entrust. I left last night. I've had knee replacement
What happened
surgery.
to your knee?
I had a knee replacement.
A knee replacement?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It's not so good.
No?
He's half robot now.
Well, I've had a shoulder replacement in this.
Yeah, when I met you, you were
Yeah.
just out of surgery. How's your shoulder?
It's all right. It's getting there. 60 years old. I live with multiple sclerosis, 2-time stroke survivor. So I've had to learn how to delegate and release. I've always been a guy that's take charge. I'm the boss.
Yeah.
And, and you releasing it. And, and I had that conversation, ironically, yesterday, I turned to both Whitley and Crystal and said, listen, it's time for y'all to run the restaurant. And let me come in. My job now is to shake hands, kiss babies, and count the money.
Amen. That's what I want to do.
That sounds like a good way.
Well, like the dichotomy of our kitchens, he cooks a certain way, I cook a certain way.
Yeah.
Whitley cooks a way, and then Johnny does. And, and to do, we brought a chef in, we gave him a test to say, hey, create me 3 specials. He wanted to do chicken wings, fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. And I go like, all right, he's out.
Carrabba's is down the road.
Yeah. Listen, and being in Stephenville, we have to have that creative, a little bit different stuff, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Summertime lighter, a little bit heavier in the wintertime.
Yeah.
That's been the tough.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that, he had this French chef named Chef Anthony Barr, and he was on Supermarket Stakeout with him. And just cooking with that guy, besides Gordon and all the TV chefs, he's probably the most talented chef I've ever worked with.
Wow.
True.
And the type of, just his skill level, he served in the French army and went to culinary school in France.
He was a model. He was
a model.
He's a handsome fella.
And you got this guy out there.
He stayed with Chef for what?
He just traveled.
5,
He just
6
took off.
months.
He built a van. He took an old Dodge van and redid the inside. And you look at this van, you go like, oh man, this guy's
about to kidnap
this is
me.
a rolling meth lab.
Yeah.
And then you look at saying like, bad bad. It's bad. And, and he's at school. Like, I brought someone in the kitchen to show him. He went off on me. He goes, all right. He went and sat down and go like, and, when you bring a chef in that's that talent, he went through the old chef program, and his dad was a chef. But what we learned from him was, the creativity is.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know. I go like, he's doing this. I don't know how it's going to sell. And next thing people are gobbling it up. He's easy on the eyes too. You have him go out and talk to tables, and he was the guy that wanted to be in the kitchen on the line cooking. And I go like, all right, let him do what he does.
Yeah.
And that's where he taught me probably was the most to teach me and Whitley. You can't yell at him. You've got to lead by example, but get out of their way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I learned a lot from him in the short period that I worked with him.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, he was on a couple other cooking shows too, but I don't necessarily think he's a TV chef, if that makes sense. He's not the type of guy to want to do something in 45 minutes.
Right.
And
so after college, like what's your goal with all this food? You want to own a restaurant?
I mean, I'm not saying no, I don't want to. And I really don't know my 4-year plan yet. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But after working in the industry, I like my weekends and holidays way too much to be a chef at a restaurant. And not saying I couldn't do it.
I don't want to miss football.
No, yeah, not saying I couldn't do it. But whether or not I enjoy that the rest of my life, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
And I could see myself growing to hate it, and I don't want to hate it.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to A Bunch of Losers with me, Derrick Fox. Please comment below if you guys have questions for any of these guests. I'm sure they would love to answer, and I'll answer as well. So let me know below. Also, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and then also make sure you're following us on Instagram, A Bunch of Losers with Derrick Fox, so you get the update on the new episodes. We will be launching them weekly. All right, thanks, losers.
Action.